This on. Cool. Good afternoon, good morning, or whatever time it is that you're watching this right now. I hope it is a good day for you, class of 2018. So it is Saturday right now. Maybe Sunday when you're watching this, maybe it's not, but hopefully it's very soon after Kairos, and I hope that you're still feeling really good from your experience, right? I don't know about you, but I know I got a lot from Kairos, and I had really great feelings coming away from that retreat. So hopefully those feelings are still there, right? But I want you to know, and this isn't me trying to be a Debbie Downer, but those feelings fade. Okay, those feelings are going to fade. That holiness that we desire, coming out of a big retreat like that, oftentimes those feelings have to turn into habits. Otherwise we go back to our old habits of what we behaved like prior to our retreat. Right. So one of the most common scriptures used to discuss this idea is the transfiguration of Jesus. When some of the disciples, they go up onto a mountaintop, and Jesus just has this, just becomes this dazzling image of gold, I believe. And he's seen with Moses and Elijah. And so the story goes, Peter, you got to love Peter because he always says either the dumbest stuff or the most brilliant stuff. Peter says, Lord, if you like, I will make 3 tents here, one for you, Moses, and Elijah. Basically, what Peter is saying is that, Lord, I want to stay in this moment with you, right? I want to take this moment of glory and stay here and stay in this moment. I think a lot of times at retreats, we do the same, right? We want to stay at the retreat. We want to stay in the holiness or the joy that we find at that retreat. But the reality of any mountaintop experience is that we have to come down from the mountaintop. I don't know if you've ever been hiking, but for me, the hardest part is coming down the mountain. I love going up the mountain, even though it's really, really brutal on your legs, but coming down the mountain is exhausting, right? Because there's not a lot of glory at the bottom of the mountain. There's not a lot of victory at the bottom of the mountain. So combine the fact that it's tiring, it's arduous, but there's also not victory at the bottom. There's real life back at the bottom. So I think coming down the mountain is the hardest part for me. So why am I saying this? Well, we're coming down the mountain, right? We're coming down the mountain from this mountaintop experience, and we have to have ways to maintain what it is that we experienced. I watched a lot of you have some amazing experiences. You desired healing. You sought out that healing. You experienced that healing. A lot of you went to reconciliation, maybe for the first time in a while, or maybe for the first time ever. And leaving that place, I felt that you guys were in a really good spot. You guys were in a really great place with God. So how do we come down the mountain well? How do we come back from that experience and don't just fall back into the same temptations, into the same sin, into the same unhealthy lifestyles? Well, that's why I want to talk to you today. Is I want to publicly invite you, formally, I want to invite you to get plugged in to a community that cares about your faith and about you. I want to invite you into a community that cares about you. And what I mean by that is I want you guys to get plugged into a youth group, right? Very selfishly, right off the bat, I would love if you came to St. Joe's Mommy. I would love if you came to St. Joe's Mommy. I would love for you all to be an influence on my kids. I would love for the way that you brighten my wife's day. But I don't care if you as much as I love that, I don't care if you come to our youth group or any other youth group, but I just want you, I beg that you get plugged in somewhere. I had this discussion with Owen that I wish he would have been part of our youth group, but I am so thankful that he wasn't, because him being part of St. Pat's made him who he is today. And who he is has had a great effect on my life, right? So please get plugged into a youth group. St. Patrick's of Heatherdowns, St. Joe's Mommy. I know St. Rose has a good one. I know St. John the 23rd has a good one if you're in Perrysburg. If you're across the river, I know Cardinal Stritch runs one that's really, really good. Those guys are solid down there. I trust Shane with my life. Shane's in charge over there. But please, please, please get plugged in, right? Because God has called us to something more. God has called you to something more. So Peter, yet again, when he's called out onto the water, how does Peter respond? He trusts God and he steps out onto the water. Well, I'm gonna invite you to trust God here and step out onto the water. Get plugged into a community that cares about you, that cares about your faith walk, that desires your good. So the offer's there. The call is there, right? So what are you going to do? You can stay in the boat or you can step out. I love all of you. I'm praying for you. You matter, and you matter to me.